welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Crystal Kennedy, and this is a show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course, we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. We are so glad you decided to make us a part of your day.
And we also have joining us our AMC Movie News entertainment correspondent, Erin Darling.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of AMC Movie Talk.
And we also have joining us our AMC Movie News editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hello guys, it's my mama's birthday, so I want to give her some love.
Look at that, I needed a day off. I got everyone's titles correct today. Big
Crushing
day.
it, girl.
Big day. All right, Christmas 2015 just got a little more crowded. It's being reported that Paramount Pictures has set Mission Impossible 5 for release in AMC theaters everywhere December 25th, 2015. Tom Cruise returns to reprise his role as Ethan Hunt, with Christopher McQuarrie directing. McQuarrie has also directed Cruise in 2012's Jack Reacher and wrote the screenplay for one of Cruise's other films, Valkyrie. The Christmas release date puts Mission Impossible 5 directly against Kung Fu Panda 3, and opening just 1 week after Star Wars Episode 7. John, what do you think of Mission Impossible 5 opening on Christmas 2015?
I'm actually very excited for this movie. I think Tom Cruise is still crushing it as in the action roles. I wasn't a big fan of the last one he just did with Morgan Freeman. The sci-fi one, I'm forgetting. But,
Oblivion.
Yeah, Oblivion, thank you. I wasn't a big fan of that, but I still think he's crushing it as that. I love the fact that he's working with McQuarrie again. I love Valkyrie. I think that might be Cruise's most underrated film, is Valkyrie. I thought that was great, and the fact that he wrote that, worked with him again in Jack Reacher. I really like Jack Reacher. I didn't think it got the love that it deserved either. Not a great third act, but overall a really good film. But here's the thing. This is a bad move. Putting this film on Christmas Day. Christmas Day is prime real estate. I mean, one of the most sought-after release dates. I get it. But Kung Fu Panda 3 is going to be a monster. That's fine. It's a kid's film. There's a different demographic, but still you got a lot of parents. You're underestimating the Force. You are really underestimating the power of the Force here.
How dare you?
It's Star Wars Episode 7. First of all, it's just Star Wars. Number two, there's a lot of renewed hope in the whole franchise after the prequels. With JJ at the helm now and all this kind of stuff. Just 1 week after, I think there is still going to be a lot of people in the same demographic that you're trying to appeal to with Mission Impossible 5 that are still going to be going out to the theaters to see Star Wars. Because a lot of people aren't going to be able to see Star Wars on its opening weekend because the theaters are going to be packed. I don't like this move. I'm really excited for this film, but I don't think this was the wisest choice of release dates. It's going to make money, but it ain't going to make the money that I think Mission Impossible 5 could make if they just selected another release date. That's just the way I see it. Amy Rose, how do you see it?
I think you nailed it. I completely agree. I really liked Ghost Protocol. I thought it was a great film.
Great film.
I do still think Tom Cruise has it. He's a great action star, and he's very likable and charismatic. And, you know, this is a highly coveted release. We get it. People off work. They want to go with their families. But, yeah, Star Wars, I mean, even people who haven't seen it for the first time will be at our like third or fourth viewing at that point.
Yeah.
So I know, and going against a huge franchise in the animated world like Kung Fu Panda, I mean, of course it is a different demographic, but at the same time, is it really? Because families, they can both see these very, very easily. So I don't know. I get why they would want to do this, but I do think they're hurting themselves by putting it in this release, opposed to just either pushing it in the new year or doing it a couple weeks before. Yeah, and I'm really excited. I actually did like Jack Reacher a lot too, and I do forgive the end. I do think it got a little cheesy, but I really think Tom Cruise still can carry a movie really well, and I look forward to the next mission. But yeah, I don't think it was a smart move on their behalf.
Erin?
I completely agree. You guys said everything I wanted to say. Basically, a week after Star Wars holiday season, I think it's going to get crushed at the box office.
Yeah, and it's one thing for a Kung Fu Panda to release 1 week after. Not exactly the same demographic. So you've got, I mean, maybe you could drop a romantic comedy on Christmas Day to go against Star Wars because you're going after a little bit of a different audience. You can put a Kung Fu Panda there. Mission Impossible 5 ain't the one you want to have the week after.
Let's be real. You can throw an animated film like that anywhere
True.
on the calendar year,
Yep.
and it's going to make a lot of money. So, yeah. we'll see what happens.
All right, what do we got next?
It looks like Hollywood is starting to turn into Chris Pratt's town. Pratt has his new film Delivery Man with Vince Vaughn opening in AMC theaters everywhere on November 22nd, and two notable films in 2014 with the Lego Movie and the new Marvel film Guardians of the Galaxy. Now it looks like you may be able to add Jurassic World to the list. It's being reported that Pratt is in talks to take over the lead role in the film after talks with Josh Brolin broke down for the role. Jurassic World is set to hit AMC theaters on June 12th, 2015. Amy Rose, do you think Pratt would be a good fit for Jurassic World?
I really like it here in Pratt Town. Big fan. He is so wonderful. I mean, when he came by the office, you know, we've interviewed him a couple times. He's just so down to earth, and I'm so happy that his career is really taking off. You know, sure, he's had success on TV in a couple films and here and there, but he is now starring in a Marvel film. I mean, Jurassic World, I think, would be a great fit. I mean, it sounds like he might take the Jeff Goldblum kind of comedic-like role away from that, but he can also do dramatic. So I do think this would be great. I love Ty Simpkins and, you know, Bryce Dallas Howard. I think this is shaping up to be really great, and I love Safety Not Guaranteed, Colin Trevorrow's film. So I do think this is great. I love Pratt, and I'm just really excited that his career's continuing to blossom.
Aaron?
Chris Pratt's making a lot of fans in Hollywood these days, and I'm completely okay with that. I think he's funny, he's talented, I love his family. I want to join his family. If there are any openings anytime soon, you know, I'm down for that, Chris Pratt. But I think he's fantastic. I can't wait to see him. I really hope this works out. And I love this cast too. Bryce Dallas Howard, I'm excited for, Ty Simpkins, and I also love Nick Robinson. I think he's really talented as well. So I would love to see Chris Pratt in this movie if it works out.
Yeah, I mean, we've only got to see so far. When you get to see Delivery Man, you're going to see a little bit of a different part of Chris Pratt than what you're used to seeing. We got to see a little bit of his dramatic flair in Moneyball, where he played, but he still brings the funny, though, at the same time. Pratt is just a special kind of performer. I think he's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're right. I love the comparison that you made. He's going to fill that role in Jurassic Park. I think he's going to be serious. He's now got the physique of an action star.
Looking good, Pratt.
Yeah, he's looking really good now that he's getting ready for Guardians of the Galaxy, or he's finished shooting Guardians of the Galaxy now. So he's got the physique of an action star, but he still has all the comedy. Gotta tell you this. He, as Amy Rose alluded to, he was in our office last week. And as a part of being in there, he was doing a live tweet interactions with fans for Delivery Man. And just some of the answers he was giving was so funny. And the funniest ones were the ones he couldn't actually tweet. Because, you know, the Disney PR people were there. It's just such a great, down-to-earth, funny guy. You always hope success like this can happen to guys like this. And he is one of the guys who really deserves it. So we're really thrilled for him. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show called Buy and Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Amy Rose, Aaron, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
Dwayne Johnson has just signed on to star in the upcoming true story film Not Without Hope, based on the book of the same name. On February 28th of 2009, Nick Schuler, a 24-year-old personal trainer, left for a deep-sea fishing trip with 3 friends, NFL players Marquis Cooper, Corey Smith, and Will Bleakley, his best friend who once played football for the University of South Florida. After an accident left the group trapped on a capsized boat, Schuler was found by rescuers 43 hours later. His friends Cooper, Corey Smith, and Will Bleakley had all died. Aaron, buy or sell Dwayne Johnson in Not Without Hope?
I'm going to buy this. I think it's a fantastic move for him. This is a bare-bones survival story. I think it's going to give him the opportunity to really show us a new side of his acting. He's getting better and better as well. I loved him in Pain and Gain, and this is so suited to him. He was a college football player himself, so I think he has a lot to bring to this role, a lot to give to the movie, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, this is a tragic story. I mean, the story of Not Without Hope. I mean, and for those of you who don't know, it's a true story that happened a couple of years ago. And basically, they were 70 miles offshore, which is still boggles my mind. 70 miles offshore in this not huge boat. And I guess what happened was their anchor got stuck, and there was a storm coming in, and they could not get the anchor unstuck. So what they did was they basically tried to ram the boat away to dislodge the anchor, but it ended up ripping off part of the boat. The boat capsized, and I mean, it's just a ridiculously terrifying story. But you're right. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been getting better and better and better. You mentioned Pain and Gain. Snitch was another film they did last year that really showed us as like, you know what, he's not just all charisma anymore. This dude can act. I'm not predicting Oscars in his future, but this dude can now act, and you're right. I think this is a great move for him. Doing a smaller survival film like this, all dramatic, none of the big, huge rock charm, this could really add a real dimension to him for audiences. So I think it's a great move. Amy Rose?
Yeah, I completely agree. I buy it. These survival tales, I mean, you really do see what these actors are capable of, because there's going to be a point where it is Dwayne's movie. He's obviously, we just heard that the other people don't survive. So
well, he's not playing the main character. He's not playing the guy who survives. No.
Oh, so he dies? Well, now my heart's even more broken. I don't want to see my Rock die. But yeah, no, I think Snitch was really his breakout role for me. I mean, he was really, really powerful in that film, and he is really charismatic and likable, but I think the guy has talent, and he is pushing himself in stories like this. I mean, it's you know what's going to happen, but hopefully we're still on the edge of their seat if it's told brilliantly. So yeah, I'm definitely interested.
All right.
Don Cheadle is set to direct and star in the upcoming film Kill the Trumpet Player, the story of a few dangerous days in the life of Miles Davis, played by Cheadle, the virtuoso, fighter, and genius, as he bursts out of his silent period and conspires with a Rolling Stone writer to steal back his music. The film is also set to star Ewan McGregor and Zoe Saldana. John Buyer-Seld Cheadle starring in the directing Kill the Trumpet Player.
Yeah, his directorial debut. I'll buy anything with Don Cheadle. Until he proves me otherwise, I'm going to buy anything with him. I love him in comedy. I love him in drama. He is simply one of the world's finest actors right now. And I'm really curious to see what he does in the director's show. I even love his new show, House of Lies.
Yeah, me too.
He's a great character in that. So until he proves otherwise, I'm all into Don Cheadle. So for me, it's a buy. Aaron?
I love it when someone gets behind a project because they're so passionate about it. They've been trying to make it for years, and this is exactly the story with this movie and Don Cheadle. He's been in love with this idea. I'm so happy that's now getting made, and I also would love to see him get behind the camera and see what that looks like on the big screen.
Agreed.
Yeah, buy enthusiastically. He is so incredible, and you know, a lot of people, a lot of actors are trying to step behind the lens, and I'm like, okay, give it a shot, why not? But someone like Cheadle that puts so much passion and just precision into every role. Like, he literally, from roadie to a sleaze on the stock market to the, I mean, he can do everything, and I have so much faith in him, and this story is so fascinating to me, and great cast. I'm really excited to see, his take.
Yeah, and if you have not seen Don Cheadle in Hotel Rwanda, do it, and you'll appreciate, you'll never question how talented this dude is.
Hopefully you don't already.
The upcoming X-Men Days of Future Past hits AMC theaters everywhere on May 23rd, 2014, and Jennifer Lawrence is giving us a little insight into where we find her character Mystique when the film starts. Lawrence said the following: "We find Raven. She's split off from Eric and Charles, and she's kind of her own agent. She has one mission of trying to assassinate somebody, and it will be her first kill, basically. And because we've seen her in the future and what she becomes, and this is kind of a turning point for her." Amy Rose, buy or sell the statement from Lawrence?
I could not buy this more enthusiastically. Like, first of all, Jennifer Lawrence is just such a class act and so talented, and I'm excited to see the arc of Raven, who's one of my favorite characters, no question, in the X-Men universe, continue to evolve. But these are the backstories that I love so much. The reason I love X-Men so much, the reason I love Professor X and Magneto and all these amazing characters, is because it's not so black and white. They have so many fascinating complexities to their characters, and Raven's one of those. She started off, trying to fit in and feeling really out of place with being a mutant, and Professor X took her under the wing and all of this, and then eventually went to the dark side with Magneto. But I love that they're showing it this way. I think that's brilliant, and I think that we're starting to get a better idea of what this is going to entail going, in the present, future, and back, and all of this. I'm starting to really get a sense of what they're going to try to accomplish here, and the more details I hear, I'm so excited. I think Singer knows what he's doing, and I couldn't be more excited about this.
I could not sell this harder. As a
really?
matter of fact,
Wow.
I think, at the end of X-Men First Class, we see that she has now joined in allegiance with Magneto. When we get to the quote-unquote present-day X-Men films, we see she is in allegiance with Magneto. It seems like in X-Men Days of Future Past, first of all, she is not the main character in the film. She's not the second most important character. She's not the third most important character in the film. So this seems like, we know the position she's in here. We know the position she's in here. It seems like creating an artificial drama in the middle there to move her away from it and then back into it with all the other stuff going on in X-Men First Class, to me seems unnecessary, especially for a fourth-tier character in the film. I love me some Jennifer Lawrence, but this just seems unnecessary. Totally might change my tune when I see the context that this is in, but just in advance, I gotta sell it. Tiebreaker.
I'm going to buy this because I'm a huge X-Men fan as well. I'm so excited for everything regarding Days of Future Past. And I love a good origin story and introduction to where a character makes a change or a turning point, which is pretty much what we're going to see here. She's a villain and an assassin, and I like to see that moment where things change for this character. So I think it'll be really exciting to see.
But she's definitely one of the main characters. No, she's not Professor X, Magneto, or Wolverine.
So
she's up there.
So maybe
she's up there.
Fourth most important character
That's
in the
important.
movie? Maybe?
That's important.
Yeah, there's a lot of X-Men.
No, actually, no, let's go this way. Okay, first of all, you've got young Professor X is going to be ahead of her, old Professor X is going to be ahead of her.
They're not going to be very big part of the story.
Basic, look, you would never say if anybody who's the fourth main character in the film that they've got a main character.
I got it.
All right.
Boo, John. Boo. We want her.
What's next?
As some of you know, there have been a couple of attempts to bring a Stretch Armstrong movie to the big screen in recent years. Both attempts have failed, but now a video has leaked from the Universal Pictures attempt of developing the movie, showing some storyboard animatics, giving us a taste of what the movie might have been. Take a look. Well, my Stretch Armstrong toy as a kid was not that badass. Erin, buy or sell the looks of Universal Stretch Armstrong?
I'm going to buy this so hard, a million times over, because you know what this looks like? This looks like the Plastic Man origin story that I've been dying to see. Surprise, surprise. And this is just proof that it's entertaining and stretchy powers can be fun, and that might actually work in a movie. So even though it sounds like this project is dead, it gives me hope that maybe one day, somewhere in the DC universe, I will get my Plastic Man movie on the big screen. So I'm going to buy this. It looks pretty cool.
You should take your stretch and be happy with that.
She said stretchy strength is cool.
It's a power, guys.
Oh, I love it. Anyway, yeah, I am going to hesitantly buy this. When I first started watching it, I was like, wait, what am I watching? It felt like anime Matrix with like so many other things mixed in. And then I kept watching, and honestly, right when it started getting kind of gory is when I was like, I kind of like this. And they were jumping around, and like it definitely, I think it could be kind of a cool premise. And I know this is just the storyboard, but yeah, I can't say I would not watch this. I would.
You know, that clip is just like a minute and a half of a 5-minute clip.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can look in the description of this video, and we got a link so you can watch the full 5-minute clip. But this is back when Taylor Lautner was supposed to be doing it. And a little bit further on, as one of the bad guys is chasing Taylor Lautner, he's got kind of like a predator view where in his view, like information is popping up in his eye,
cool.
and you see the little picture of Taylor Lautner in the bottom. But also, then Taylor, the character's running through a room where kids are watching TV, and there's a commercial for Stretch Armstrong, the toy. So I guess that's how he adopts his name and stuff like that. It's really quite good. I was shocked how much I liked it. Now, at some point I'm wondering, why is Quicksilver chasing Mr. Fantastic through the street? I don't know. So it had a little bit of a Fantastic Four feel there. But I think suddenly now I've gone from, thank God they killed this stupid looking movie, to this might have actually been pretty good. Maybe we will get this at some point. So yeah, Crystal, you saw the clip that we all just saw. Like, when you think of a Stretch Armstrong, do you still think something ridiculous? Do you get hope? Like, what kind of impression did it make on you?
That is so not the Stretch Armstrong I remember as a kid. Like, I had the doll, I used to pull it, but he was playing with my Barbies. He was not getting shot by G.I. Joe. So I actually thought it looked really fun, and it is something that I would have seen. And I wouldn't have said that before, so now I'm a little bummed.
All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show called Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you would like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, every day we take a little bit of time, take some of your questions. Chris Lee's got a few of them pulled out. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
Henry Reyes writes, greetings everyone from AMC Movie Talk. Love the show. Keep up the good work. My question is, since there has been so much talk about Wonder Woman and about actors who might play the role, I was wondering, why can't we fans pick the actors ourselves instead of letting the directors of the movie decide? Maybe in the future the fans can vote for actors themselves. What are your thoughts about this?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the question, Henry. Dear heavens, no. No. Look, if I'm going to a restaurant because I heard the food is great and I'm a big food guy, but I can't cook very well. But I'm a big food guy and I heard this chef is cooking at this restaurant and I'm going to go teach it. Do I want to go into the restaurant and have all the patrons go, you know what? We're all going to tell the chef what to cook tonight and we're going to tell him how to cook it. Or do I want the chef, the guy who knows what he's doing, the guy who's trained in this, the guy who does this for a living, the guy who is a master at this? Do I want him making the decisions? Or all these patrons who just know how to stuff their pie hole? I want the master making the decisions. If I'm going in for brain surgery, you know, I go in, like, they reel me into the room, they're about to put me under the anesthesia, and they go, now, do you want this brain surgeon who's been doing this for 25 years, known around the world for what he does, and he's so good at it, or do you want those 50 people in the gallery to kind of vote and decide what should be done next? I want the guy who knows what he's doing. Look, there's an old saying, I've quoted it before, amongst, you know, some journalist asks all-time great NFL football coach Bill Parcells. They asked him once, you know, hey, do you ever like listen to the fans and you know, take advice from the fans? And Bill Parcells said this, coaches who listen to fans are destined to be sitting with them next week. And that's absolutely true. I want people who know the movie and know the story and know what fits and know what to look for in actors and all that kind of stuff. I want them making these decisions, not people who watch 16 movies a year. That's not what I want. You know, no, I don't want it. Because look, if it was up to fans to pick who was going to star in movies, we never would have had Heath Ledger as the Joker.
True.
It never would have happened. We wouldn't have our James Bond that we have right now because people were all poo-pooed on him too. There are so many roles that we never would have had that guy. No, fans should never have the power to vote for who should play a certain role ever, 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 ever. That's not my gift, that's not my expertise, and it's not yours either. Let's let the guys who do this for a living decide. Am I overreacting to this, or do you agree, disagree? Erin, what do you think?
I don't think you're overreacting, but I understand your question. I see where you're coming from, Henry. It makes a lot of sense that you believe that maybe fans should have a say. And actually, I think Hollywood is starting to listen a little bit more, especially with a greater internet presence growing, with people interacting there. And now they have a way to interact with fans a little bit more and see what they're thinking. But I don't think ultimately it should be in the power of fans, because we don't know what's going on with these movies, and we don't know the script, and we don't know what actors would be best suited for these roles with a limited knowledge, really, is what it comes down to. So, no, I really don't think that's a good idea, but I get it. I understand.
Rose?
Now, Campia, that was a much more mild rant than I was expecting. so good job. You're working on that. I definitely agree. Henry, you're adorable, and I love the sentiment. But, yeah, we should leave these in the hands of the professionals. Not to mention, other than just the actor, there's so many things that, you know, contribute to a successful production, and all the pieces have to work together perfectly. But I do think, you know, with the technological age that we're living in and with social platforms and everything being as powerful, you're right. People have never listened more to the fans than right now. I mean, Kevin Feige has said that continuously, like we're trying to give fans, and even Jamie Alexander on our panel. She's like, hey, if you guys want a Hulk movie, a standalone with Mark Ruffalo, you know, be vocal about it, because Marvel really listens to their fans. And I feel like we really have that platform to do that. But reading your question, like, I do think it would be kind of an interesting marketing, like, tactic tactic at one point to maybe have a pivotal character have a kind of like demand it thing. Like, these are the 3 actors, actors in contention for this, da-da-da-da. Like, who do you think we should be? And actually have it be kind of this crazy marketing thing. I think that could be rather interesting. But the studio would have to pick the first. It wouldn't be just like a drawing board of whatever. Because we are continuously pushing and changing the way productions are known. But yeah, bottom line, the professionals should do it. No offense, not to say we wouldn't pick some great actors to be in certain roles, but they do have an eye. And I mean, look at Ben Affleck. So many people had such a backlash of that, but we didn't see a screen test. He might have crushed that. Obviously, he crushed that because this is a crazy, crazy, crazy
and we
franchise.
haven't seen the script.
Yeah,
that's more. We don't. We haven't.
Exactly.
I mean, if this was in the hands of the fans, here's 2 things that really scare me. If it was in the hands of the fans, here's two examples that just terrify me. Number 1, a very popular pick amongst a lot of fans online when they were when it was still a mystery about who's going to play Batman, was Scott Adkins. People were saying Scott Adkins, oh, Scott Adkins, that would have been one of the most horrible choices in the history of Hollywood. Scott Adkins is a physical beast, great martial artist. And that, yeah, that sounds great to have in Batman, but this is still a movie. You need an actor, doesn't have to be super experienced, but has to be super talented, who can carry not just a film, an actor who has the chops to carry a Hollywood franchise on his shoulders. And so far, nobody's even seen enough talent in Scott Adkins to give him just a regular movie in a 3rd or 4th lead. Like, and so people are like, or the Gina Carano thing, right? I love me some Gina. She's great, but she's not an actress yet.
She's
by
big.
any stretch of the imagination. People are like, well, make her Wonder Woman because she looks right?
Yeah.
Really? Because she looks right?
Movie magic is pretty incredible these days.
You still have to first and
we don't have
foremost,
to rely on that.
first and foremost, you still have to be a great actor to carry a huge franchise.
That's number 1.
That is not Gina. That is not Scott. And if it was up to fans, that's what we would have got, and we would have ended up with terrible movies. So, yeah. Okay, enough ranting for me. Anyway.
You know what else I really like about this and find interesting is we don't really worry as movie fans as casting of other movies. Obviously, there's exceptions like Bond and things like that, but the ones that we're really passionate about are the ones that have source material, like books or comic books, because we've read them for years. We love the characters. We're so passionate about them. But we would probably make the wrong choice because we've seen it happen. So, I mean, I think it's a great question and it's a great idea, but when you think of the masses of movie audiences, we probably would make bad choices. I know I would. Zach Sankey writes, hey everyone, I love the show and watch it every day. My question has to do with Tom Hanks. A few weeks ago, he said that he would love to play the villain in a superhero movie. Do you think DC should pick him up for star power? Could he play a good villain? What do you guys think he could play? Lex or maybe Professor Zoom? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts.
Well, when you're talking about Tom Hanks, we are getting into the conversation of not one of the best actors in Hollywood today. We're getting into the conversation of the greatest of all time actors. We're now talking about a small class of people who can be considered amongst the greatest of all time. Tom Hanks is one of those. One of the only actors in history to win Best Lead Actor in a Film Academy Award 2 years in a row. Been nominated a whole bunch of times. The guy just brings it every single time. This guy can play Black Panther, as far as I'm concerned. Tom Hanks, you put him in any role, he will nail it and he will knock it out of the park. And one of the things I've never really seen him play is the villain. And I would love to see him as the villain. Now, don't get me wrong. He made some remark in an interview. It's like, oh yeah, I'd love to play Lex Luthor sometime, blah, blah, blah. And then what we as fans do is like, Tom Hanks has said that he would love to play Lex. Look, it was not, he just said it. Don't think it's going to happen. We're not going to see Tom Hanks as Lex Luthor in the upcoming Batman versus Superman, but how cool would that be? I'm just saying I would be all for it. Give him anything he wants to do. I'm all for it. Amy Rose?
Yeah, well, that was also the Amy Rose is the new Lois Lane day. So, you know, a lot of important reports came out that day. But yeah, Tom Hanks, I mean, Captain Phillips, his last film, I haven't seen Saving Mr. Banks yet, but the sense of humanity he brings to every performance. Like, he literally can do everything. Daniel Day-Lewis is in that category with me as well. Like, there is no ounce of this actor in that role. Like, they are that role. It's just, it baffles me, that amount of talent that Tom Hanks possesses. I would really like to see him play villain. I mean, I really have I'm trying to think of his film repertoire, and like I can't really think. I mean, Lady Killer's a little sleazy, but not really a villain. Like I'm trying to think. Like, has he ever played?
I loved him in Lady Killers.
Has he ever really played a
He's
villain?
been creepy before. We've seen him be creepy in Cloud Atlas.
Yeah, he's played
But
creepy,
he wasn't a villain. And can you imagine the level? I mean, Marvel, DC, the amount of talent that they're getting continues to rise. I mean, superhero trend's not going to slow down anytime soon. Robert Redford just joined the cast. I mean, it's not impossible. Anthony Hopkins. I mean, it's just incredible. Edward Norton. I mean, the amount of talent. But Tom Hanks would bring it to even the next level. And I can't even imagine. I mean, if you get him as Lex Luthor, that film will be a success, period. Like, I would love to see it, but it's not going to happen. I mean, he doesn't even do junkets anymore because he's at that level where he's like, I'm going to pick what I want. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see it, but boy, that would make me so happy.
Aaron?
Well, he's expressed interest in wanting to do it, so I think if DC doesn't explore that avenue, that would be kind of a dumb move because he would be incredible. And I would never, ever originally consider him as someone that I'd put on my list to see as a Lex Luthor type. But with him, I really think it'd be amazing, and I'm so excited to think about it. I can't even talk.
And remember,
no, I'd love to see him do that.
And we could get into a situation like a Robert Redford or an Anthony Hopkins, who Anthony Hopkins, has said in interviews, and we've heard other big stars say this too. Anthony Hopkins, look, I've got grandkids who love these characters, so I thought, okay, I'll do it. And Tom Hanks is kind of getting to that level. He's got kids, grandkids, like, hey, they want to see Grandpa in scuffling it up with Superman. Okay, I'll do that.
As the villain?
Maybe as the villain. I think that would be really, really cool. But
then you have the age thing, though, which we've talked about before.
Well, yeah, that would have to come into consideration. But right now, we still don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't even know if they're going to have Lex Luthor in the next movie or not.
Yeah.
And then if they do, we don't know what age they're going to have him.
Which is interesting.
But you raise an interesting point. You bring up like Daniel Day-Lewis and talking about that, and really those like Daniel Day-Lewis, Russell Crowe, Tom Hanks. These are the gold standard guys of today, but even in terms of all time. But the one thing about Tom Hanks that I'd even, where he outshines even a Daniel Day-Lewis is, Tom Hanks is the guy who can win an Academy Award for Philadelphia and break all of our hearts and just crush us emotionally. And he's the same dude in Splash.
That was awesome.
Now, I don't know that I can see Daniel Day-Lewis walking into a comedy and have me rolling on the floor. I mean, so Tom Hanks brings just this range. He can do the deepest of drama and the funniest of comedy. Let's see if he can do evil. That would be really cool.
Anything.
All right, folks, listen, we've run all out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank, first of all, those joining me. First of all, sitting to my immediate right, she is our entertainment correspondent, Miss Erin Darling. Erin, where can people find you online?
Twitter at Erin A. Darling, Facebook Erin Darling fan page, and YouTube Erin Ashley D. Thanks so much for watching.
And our editor here at AMC Movie News, Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach. Amy Rose, where can people find you online?
On Twitter at Amy Rosie. Thanks so much.
And I'm telling you, our Wonder Woman to be our lovely host, Miss Chris Lee Kennedy. Chris Lee, where can people find you online?
You guys know where to find me. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Lee.
Listen, folks, lots of great movies playing in AMC theaters everywhere right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your movie, showtime, and theater information. Lots of great stuff playing. My name's John Campea. You can find me on all the various social media networks at John Campea. So until next time, for AMC Movie News, bye-bye.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.